Now is my friend and good friend of Rebel News and the show, Michelle Sterling from Friends of Science. And I wanted to have Michelle on because she's sort of a Calgarian or Calgarian adjacent. I don't want to give out the exact location of the climate cabin, but you've done some real research, Michelle, into Calgary's climate plan. And before we started recording, we sort of talked about how cities have become the focus of these climate plans as some countries reject them because they're overly expensive. Cities become the fallback, and cities tend to be more progressive. And as you pointed out before we started recording, that's where the majority of the population lives. So all you need is a few mayors on the side of the climate scare, and there you go. An enormously expensive climate plan, as is the case in Calgary.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I did a recent presentation for Alberta Prosperity Project, which was on lockdowns in 15-minute cities and how lockdowns were the open door to the fourth industrial revolution. So if you want to look at these 15-minute cities, you can go back to Deadline 2020, which was written in 2016. And in it, this was written by a consulting firm called Arup. And in it, they propose that every person should have a carbon footprint of 2.9 tons CO2 equivalent, CO2e it's called. And presently, Canadians have about a 17 ton CO2e carbon footprint. So the intention of these 15-minute cities is to reduce your carbon footprint. Yes, it's true that it's nice and convenient to be walkable. In my Calgary area of Beltline Bankview, I love walking down the street there. It's a fabulous part of town. It's great. But you can also, I also love driving to Chinook Center. I love driving up to Market Mall. And, it's a great part of the city. I love going up to the ethnic supermarkets up in the Northeast, Tata Mall and all those fabulous places. I buy my Indian clothing and scarves up there. So, as long as I can get around the city as I choose, fine. But that's not the objective. And I'll tell you why. If you look at the exponential roadmap that was issued in the fall of 2019, one of the things that these climate zealots wanted to do was to reduce personal mobility and transportation to 3%. So what happened during lockdowns? That's really what happened, right? Because people did not go to work. People did not have the opportunity to drive to all the little shops that they like to go to. They could only go to the big stores. So, that was a huge limitation. And there were restrictions on how often you could go and where you could go. You might be questioned about why you were out and about unless you were on foot, even if you were on foot. What else happened? Oh, of course, the hospital shut down. So on a normal day, there would be thousands of people. And worldwide, there would be millions of people going to and from medical appointments, hospital interventions, visiting people at hospitals. That was all cut off, right? So only essential needs were treated at hospitals. And schools. On a normal day, parents would be driving their kids to school if it was far enough. School buses would be out in number, driving millions of kids all over the place every single school day. All cut, right? So this exponential roadmap came out in September of 2019, and I believe that it was implemented on the back of the initial COVID lockdown. I'm going to say that I think that COVID is real. I think that people were probably justified in saying, it's a new condition. We're not sure what it is. Let's lock down for a couple of weeks, a month. Fine. But subsequent to that, I think that the climate zealots with the powers that be simply took that opportunity and tried to lock down. And I'll tell you why I think that. Because in 2015, Ivo de Boer, who was the executive chair of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that's the political arm of the climate movement at the UN, he said that in order to meet Paris targets, we'll have to lock down the economy for 2 years.
Oh, hey, what you just saw there is a clip from my weekly full-length show, The Gun Show. It airs on Wednesday, but this is the internet. You can watch it whenever you feel like. You just have to become a subscriber to our paywalled premium content. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com to become a member today.